Now I do. Cool. All right, so Leslie was not successful.
Yeah, it's doing that thing again where it's just, it says that it's running, but it's not showing me.
Make sure you've closed any games that are running in the background.
Yeah, the only thing that's running right now is Quorum Studio.
Hmm. So do that. Control-Shift-B for a clean build.
Oh, Control-Shift-B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It knocks out old data and crap in your build, and sometimes it helps it. So it's not going to run it then, but it'll build your program and then try running again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it should build fairly quickly.
Okay.
All right, so Leslie's working on her collisions. How's everybody else with collision? Anybody need a breakout room? Anybody need...
Oh.
What do we need? We're good? Cool. Hearing no objections.
Extraneous input.
You're missing an end.
Okay.
Usually that's what that one means.
I guess I'll try to call her.
All right. So while Leslie finds her end, the next actual purpose of what we're doing here is let's back up a minute and let's think about our games, okay? Because we've got a finite amount of time, and I want you guys to have some decent working games going on. So I've just opened my palette so that I can look at my map and I can look at my game. So in my game, I have my ogre friend. I have two other monsters on the screen that I don't know if I'm going to use them yet, or not. I have a dirt road. I have a bunch of water. I have a bunch of grass. And super microscopically, I have some mushrooms around the screen. And that is what my person is going to be asked to go collect. Okay, my ogre, in theory, is going to ask them to collect mushrooms for medicine or something like that. I haven't quite decided. Again, that's just my storyline, right? So I know how to create a collision. So if it's touching a thing, something can happen, right? Now let's talk about how to make it recognize exactly what you're touching, exactly what you've collided in. Because my current collision, and I'm hopping back over to my text code, is just, if any two things collide, say ouch. If any two things collide, tell me their name, right? So I can define what I want to have happen if it's specific items colliding, okay? Based on, I can use their names, right? So if I want to have it be, I just took out my ouch statement just so I don't have to hear ouch 800 times. I'm going to leave my output statements of A and B for right now. And we're going to just always have, anytime you write this collision action, you're going to have that item 2D A equals event item, get item A. Those two creations of A and B are always there. Okay? But we can write some conditionals. We can write some if statements that check, okay, what two things just collided? And if they are two things that I like, do another thing with them. Okay? So I am going to set an if statement here. And it's going to say if A, using my item A, colon, get name. Oop. Apparently I cannot type. Equals, space, right? Quotation marks, player, quotation mark, okay? And B, colon, get name, parenthesis, equals, friend, okay? Oh, these two tags may or may not work. We'll see. And that's my if statement for right now. And I'm going to hit enter twice and put an end in so I don't lose my end, right? Arrow back up. Now I'm going to put in a say statement here of, I don't know what. We'll just say hello, friend. Okay? Hello. How about hello? So what I've just written should allow me to move my player around the screen when he bumps into my friend, my ogre. It should set off my say statement, right? Now, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work. I'm pretty sure using their variable names is not what I wanted to do here. But I'm going to see because I'm not 100% sure. And it's not going to hurt me to run my code and have it fail, right? And this is a big thing, guys. If you're teaching your kids, it's kind of fun. Like when mine said ouch 10 times in a row and we went, wait, what? What happened? You know, that failure is okay. You're going to run bogus code way more often than you're going to run code that works, right? So just kind of get used to it, let people laugh about it, move on, try to figure out what you did wrong. So I'm going to run my code, and I'm going to see what happens here. Maybe I'll crash, maybe I'll run. I'm going to move my player up to my friend. And nothing triggered the sound when I have them touching. So that tells me I am right, that my variable names that we made for the items doesn't work when I said get name. So instead, for get name, what it's looking for, and this is where I was pretty sure, but I needed to check, right? So instead of player and friend, I'm going to put the name of the item, like the name that's on the tile on my palette screen. So I'm going to say red mouth. And instead of friend, I'm going to say gray ogre, right? Because that's what my two items are. So my if statement in my begin collision action is now if colon, or I'm sorry, if A colon get name equals red mouth, and B colon get name equals gray ogre, say hello friend, end. Does that make sense to everybody? And I'm running. I still have my crazy output statement going on, so every time I touch an item, I'm getting a dump of information. That's okay. Ooh, why can't I walk through that? Oh, I bet I didn't share with sound, did I? I'm sorry. So here, I'll back away. Ooh. Back away. I go back to my ogre.
Hello, friend.
I back away.
Hello, friend.
I go to my ogre, and this is the fun part, is that he's going to say this every time I touch him.
Hello, friend.
Think about, you know, in video games, when you go up to the NPC the same number of times, and he always says the same thing. This
Hello,
is why.
friend.
Okay? But my collision works, right?
Can you tell me what the properties are on both of your friends?
The properties on both of my friends, sure. So we can go
Right now,
over
my
here.
friend is just moving away from the other one, which is hilarious. Oh, I got it. Okay, I see what my problem is.
So my red mouth has physics enabled. He is my character himself, so
Yep.
that when he bumps into things, stuff happens, right?
Yep.
My ogre is currently auto tagged as unmovable, although physics is not enabled.
Got it.
But
Oh,
I specifically gave my ogre the property of collision enabled, right? I
right.
specifically enabled him.
Yep.
So does that make sense to everybody?
Okay, so once I've got my boxes checked, unmovable, non-responsive, responsive, I can't get rid of those. And you only did physics enabled for your person. Can you go back to your movable person again, to your scene on a...
Uh-huh. He's
Oh yeah,
responsive.
okay, got it. Yeah, okay, fabulous, thank
Which
you.
is really funny. There's some code in one of the demos that keeps your person from twisting. I realized yesterday why that exists, and it's great. Let me see if I can make him do it. So we're gonna run you real fast. Because here's my happy guy, and all of my water is unmovable, right? So I am purposely running half of my guy into the water and half of my guy like off water. Oh, you're not going to do it now? So when I did this earlier, and it may have been a setting somewhere, he started to spin. So there is a chunk of code that makes your player not rotate due to physics, which is a great thing to set. Otherwise, if you bonk into something that's unmovable at the right angle, you can spin off into space or just start spinning, and you have a guy tumbling around the screen, which could be fun for you. I don't know. I'm not your game dev. But... All right. So our next step right now, guys, is to trigger talking to your quest giver. Okay, that is our next step in making our game a functional game. So I have given you the code for triggering talking to your quest giver. Now, Andy wanted everyone to record voice memos and have it be live voice in your game. I hear myself talk enough during the day. I don't personally want to be in my game. That's up to you guys. So if you would like to take time right now and record clips of like that, you guys all wrote scripts or speeches or whatever for your game for that first encounter, right? I run into my quest giver and they give me my quest. So if you would like that to be a live voice, right now is when you're going to record that. And you can record that using any
There's a voice recorder on your computer.
yes, using any voice recorder that you want. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? If you would like it to be a voice, you can use anything. You know, voice recorder on your computer, voice recorder on your iPhone or iPad or anything, right? We've all got voice notes, that file. And then we will convert it to a file that the computer likes. Does that make sense to everybody? And if we're choosing not to use voice recorder, you can use say statements. And I can also teach the speech engine right now. So if you'd like to be able to manipulate the sound of that statement, you can use the speech engine. The speech engine requires you to add another library, and it is use libraries.sound.speech, and I will dump that library into the chat for everyone. It's a pretty good, pretty easy, intuitive library. The next step is to make a speech object, and that is going to be in my class main, right underneath where I've made my item 2D and my audio object. The cool thing with speech is that you can make one object and reset it all over the place. So you don't need speech, good guy speech, bad guy speech, whatever. You can set things that way, or you can use one speech object and reset it on use. Does that make sense to everybody? So my speech object is just speech with a capital S because that's calling to my library, right? That is the type of object I'm making. And the name of it is lowercase speech. That's the word I'm going to use to activate speech and access my speech library down lower where I make my game talk. Okay. Then going to navigate down to my collision action. I'm going to edit my if it's red mouth and guy, where I have a just say statement that says hello friend. I'm going to delete that. So I now have an empty if statement. And now I'm going to start playing with the speech engine. And I'm going to say speech, colon, set pitch. I want my ogre to have a super low voice. So my pitch is going to be 0.1, okay? And pitch takes a number between 0 and 1. 1 being a high pitch, 0 being a very low pitch. So I want it to be fairly low. I've said 0.1. Does that make sense to everybody?
This is actually where I'm at now, but I don't know what the call for the speech library is. I need to like put a use statement for it.
I threw that into the chat. The use statement for the speech library is just libraries.sound.speech.
Oh, okay.
The object that you make is a speech object. So mine is capital S speech, and then my variable is lowercase s speech. It could be speak. Don't use say because that's a word that the computer looks for. And I created that speech object right underneath my audio background object, because when I'm creating objects, I keep them all chunked right in the same spot. Does that catch you up?
Yes.
Great. And now I'm down, I've navigated back down to my if statement. And I've set my pitch for my speech. And now I would like to set speed for my speech. Let's let him be low and slow. So it's also going to be 0.1. I'm just choosing numbers at the moment, guys, because I'm going to play with what it sounds like. So I have speech, colon, set speed, open parentheses, 0.1, close parenthesis. And now I'm going to actually have him say something. It's going to be speech, colon, say with a capital S, which is a little counter. Who is laughing their little brains off over here? Somebody found some great mute soundtrack noises here. And he's gonna say, hello. Hello. Can you help me? Just what he's gonna say right now. I'm sorry. What did I do wrong? Oh, I spelled speech wrong. Ah, there we go. So to make your speech object actually speak, the command is : say with a capital S, open parenthesis, quotation mark, anything you want it to say, closing quotation mark, closing parenthesis. We're going to see if this is going to work on my game. Okay.
Now that say will stop the gameplay or not the gameplay in that one? Or game motion, I should say.
Your default is blocking false. So currently it will not block. Oops, wrong button. No, not control A. Okay, and I'm going to run around up here and I'm going to go talk to my guy.
Hello. Can you hello me?
Okay, apparently spelled hello wrong. And that was not blocking because I ran right through him while I was talking to him. So the default there is to not block. And that was super slow. If I want this say statement to block, after my quotation mark, after me, I can say comma true. And it will turn blocking on, which will stop my gameplay while it's speaking. And I just did that for an example. Totally gonna speed up his speech because, oh my God, I'm gonna fall asleep while he's talking.
Hello. Can you help me?
And I was trying to move while he was talking and was unsuccessful. So that worked. Uh-oh.
Hello.
I re-triggered a collision.
Can you help me?
Okay. So does that make sense to everyone how this works?
Any particular reason why my speech would not turn green when I'm typing it?
You've spelled something wrong somewhere. Alternately, you're missing your quotation mark in the line above.
Got him. I know
Something-
it's something real
it's-
easy.
It's something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to play with their code / take a break because I need to refill some caffeine and use the restroom. So experiment for a few minutes here, guys, and I will be back in just a moment. Okay? Don't worry, you are not likely to break anything. Not likely. I'm going to stop share in case anybody wants to share around with each other while we're doing the thing. And I will return in just a moment.